The most anticipated show of your week.
That's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Keep It a Buck Podcast.
What's going on, good people? This is another episode of the Keep It a Buck Podcast. I am your host, Felipe Santiago, and as always, sitting across from me is your boy E.
The bad guy.
What's going on, bro?
What's happening today, man?
It's a good day. It's a good day.
Every day is a good day.
Any day you above ground is a good day.
Yeah.
So,
what's going on? How we doing
let's
today?
jump into something that we talked about. I think it was last show. We were asking who was the one of the greatest of all time MCs for women.
Okay.
And I said Missy Elliott.
I agree.
So here, a couple days ago, Missy Elliott just got the Michael Jackson Vanguard Award.
Okay.
So, I mean, or the...
I saw that. Yeah,
Michael
I saw
Jackson
that on
video.
MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So they got the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. And everyone, as everyone knows, that's for their accomplishments in music and film. And she's one of 8 women, counting herself, that have gotten that award off. That's counting Madonna was the first one, Beyonce, Britney Spears, etc., and so on. But I think that's crazy that we were just talking about.
We was
how
just
great
talking
she
about
was.
it, and she got an award for it.
Yeah,
man, that's
crazy.
awesome.
So, a lot of turmoil about this because Cardi B gave her the award. Like, she was the one who said the speech, gave the little presentation, and then gave the award.
Okay, I saw that.
And a lot of people were saying that she shouldn't have been the one to give the award to her.
All right, why is that?
Some people, and I asked at work, some people said that they wished it was someone who was in the game longer, like Queen Latifah or gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But they were saying nothing against her, but they wished it was someone else, someone who had more tenure, to give an award of that magnitude to Missy. And I was saying no. I like the fact that they got someone who's at the top right now, being Cardi, to acknowledge the fact that without Missy, she wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be Cardi.
Yeah, there would be no
Cardi.
So I loved it, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
First of all, what's the difference between an old artist and a new artist? I mean, what's the difference between Queen Latifah and Cardi B? Queen Latifah,
the influence that they've had.
Was the first.
The time.
Was the first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Missy Elliott was in the middle.
Yeah.
In between them two. So why not put somebody that's on top already, to acknowledge, for paving the way. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. A lot of people said that they thought that Nicki would end up doing it.
I don't know. Nicki doesn't have any music out right now. I heard she's coming out with an album. And I also heard that she's retiring.
That's why, yeah. So she tweeted yesterday around 1:20 and said, I decided to retire and have my family. I know you guys are happy now. To my fans, keep repping me. Do it to the death of me. X in the box, cause ain't nobody checking me. Love you for life. With a kissy emoji, heart emoji, and the unicorn emoji. So my thing is, and you know how I said what I said about her in the last show. I'm not gonna revamp it, but I think it's crazy that in light of all of this that's been happening, Cardi giving out the awards, Nicki being on that Hot Girl record, and honestly, to me, it didn't sound like she really wanted to be on the record.
No,
it sounded like she was just there because they were like, "Hey, Nicki, we would really appreciate you being on it." She was like, "Okay, cool, I'll be on it. I'm not gonna get no A game. Because to me, to be honest, like, I don't like it at all. And then after all this, then she had the interviews and she was saying...
Wait, she said she didn't like it?
No, I don't like it.
Oh, you don't like it? Okay.
She had the interview with Joe.
Okay.
On Queen Radio. Then she had the interview on the Joe Budden podcast where they were talking about this, that, and the other, where she said she was being bullied by all the men and all that, which... Thinking back on it now, because I thought long and hard about what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Because we did go into more depth about people saying they're being bullied and all that stuff on the show too. If she felt like she was being bullied, one, she never said anything to anyone. She was coming into a predominantly male-oriented area of music where no other females were really doing anything at that time except her. So for her to come in and say she was being bullied, I can see that now. Looking back, I can see it. But when you're doing it to the best of your ability and you're out spitting some of the men, your body of work speaks by itself. You don't have to go out on social media and all these other platforms and do all this extra stuff because they said something.
Right.
Like, people always say kill them with kindness. You kill them by doing what you've been doing.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So getting off of that, I think all of that being said, now she's saying, I've decided to retire and to have my family. I know you guys are happy now. It still sounds like she's not doing this because she wants to. It literally sounds to me like she's saying, I'm sick of people talking about me. I'm sick of having to constantly defend myself, so I'm just going to stop.
Okay.
I'm going to go do whatever else I want to go do. But what she doesn't realize is now she's giving them more fuel. They're steadily going to talk about you because they're going to be like, oh, well, just to say, however long her career was, what if Cardi's career goes 1 year past her length of career and now she's automatically going to be under Cardi forever because of the length of her career? So then they're going to be like, oh, well, Cardi took all this stuff head on from the get-go, and it shows that Nicki couldn't handle it because she retired because of it. So to me, if you're going to retire and to have a family, which I wish you nothing but the best in that, don't say, I know you guys are happy now, because that doesn't sound like you're doing it for you. You're doing it because you know that's what everyone wants. When we don't want that.
Not really. Just like this, I know this is off the subject, but just like Andrew Luck, we didn't want him to retire either.
I saw it coming though.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it coming. I mean, because she could have, just to elaborate on his situation a little bit, you should have retired or should have announced the retirement a couple of weeks before training camp at least, so that your backup quarterback can have some reps.
Well, see, in that situation, he confided in a certain group of people saying, hey, I don't feel right about this. Mm-hmm. Now, at the end of the season, we're going to do all the necessary steps during the off season, make sure I try to get back on track or as close to back on track as I can be. But then you've got all this other stuff that's going on in the league, and you got people trying to draft people, and him saying that at the end of the season should have been enough for them to say, just in case, let's get another quarterback. One, he's already injury prone because he's been injured a few times. Two, that takes some of the pressure off of him to feel like he needs to rush to get through things to get healthy to get back on the field. He said it to the right people, and they just was like, okay, cool, we'll work on it, and that's it. And then they went out and said something. He didn't say anything because he still hadn't made his mind up. And then comes time for practice, he's still not where he needs to be. He said he was worse now than he was when he got injured. which is not good. I'm not doing this for, like, yeah, fans are gonna hate him or whatever, but he's a human being.
Of course.
I mean, he has a family. He has kids that he has to. I mean, he's thinking of his long term, not just the franchise's long term.
Exactly.
And I respect him for retiring when he did, because how many times have you seen it where they don't retire and then they end up tarnishing whatever they had?
Just like Peyton Manning, he could have got paralyzed.
After he got hurt like he did, I was not expecting him to come back, period.
Yeah.
But he still did.
And when he came back, I was expecting him to win another Super Bowl.
I wasn't.
I was.
I wasn't expecting him to win. I was expecting him to go out in the playoffs. Because, I mean, he's Peyton Manning. They were going to put the right people around him to get him there. But I would be crazy to say this man just almost ended his life and career, and now he's finna go to the Super Bowl and win. Nah. Because I didn't know the severity of his injury. No one did but him and his doctor.
Of course.
So, I mean, that's how anyone would want it. Like, oh man, he got injured. He got taken out. Oh, he's back. I hope he goes to the Super Bowl. I hope he goes out on top. Yeah. But, I mean, even looking at Peyton, they thought he was going to come into the league and just win every year. He barely got the 2 he got.
Mm-hmm.
His brother got 2 before he did, and they said he wasn't going to amount to nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, but on the cusp of football, first game of football happened today. Bears and the
Green Bay
Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch any of it?
I saw the whole thing.
I watched right up to halftime, I believe, or a little bit before halftime.
Overall, I thought it was a good game.
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed for that to be the
I
first.
think both defense showed out.
Yeah. Bears came back, did exactly what they did last year. You could tell they were still a little bit rusty from it being off season.
Of course.
But, I mean, but then Aaron Rodgers, this being his first game back since last season, he didn't play at all in the preseason. Like, he didn't take not a single snap.
Yeah.
And it showed in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
He was still getting a feel for being back on the field.
Right.
And then, second quarter, he came back out there. He was just like, all right, let's go. Let's go to work. And then 3 plays, touchdown. And I was like, okay, he's back. He's back in his he's back comfortable.
Yeah.
Which, that's a very good excuse me. That's a very good team to go against first. A strong defensive team like the Bears, because if you can get your line to do enough to protect you in arguably the best defense in the league, that says a lot for what's coming.
Yeah.
So I liked it. It was what, 10-3?
10-3. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It was a good game.
It was a good game.
They went at it the whole time.
I'm glad that Chicago finally got a good kicker.
Yeah, what's his name?
Pietra or something with a P. I can't remember it.
Yeah.
But excuse me. But yeah, I'm glad they got a good kicker.
Mm-hmm.
He hit that first kick and it was great, straight down the middle, and you could tell he was excited that because that was his first ever start for kicks. But he, even when he kicked it, was kicking it off. That was good. When the punts were good. They got it down at the 1 yard line. That was perfect. It was just an all around pretty good game. I mean, not one of those, oh man, you blink and you miss it. Like, nah, they were playing good football.
Yeah, it was good. It was some good football today.
Oh yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, jumping back to music. There was a deal that went down. I think a week ago, maybe, with Hasbro, the toy company.
Okay.
They bought Death Row Records.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
I was like, "What is happening here?" And it got brought to my attention because I was listening to Joe Budden's podcast, of course. And
shout out to Joe, man.
Of course, but I was listening to it, and they were making fun of him. He was like, "I got to get my royalties from Hasbro," and they were talking about making a G.I. Joe, but like a G.I. Joe Button toy. And I was like, "That's crazy," but I could see something like that happening because they have the rights to Snoop Dogg, Tupac, like everybody. But they bought them for $4 billion.
Man, that's crazy.
What are they? What the question is? What are they planning on doing? Because they're a family business. Now imagine Hasbro, the makers of Transformers and Power Rangers and Play-Doh, with Death Row. That's a family company. Death Row Records in Hasbro.
I just think they fans.
But they gotta do.
I mean, you really don't have to do anything with it, because it would sell regardless. I mean, you can put Tupac's All Eyes on Me back on the shelf, and it'll sell.
Yeah, but the reason I disagree is you're not gonna spend $4 billion on something and not have a plan to do something.
Look at Michael Jackson when he bought the Beatles records.
Yeah, for sampling.
But he never sampled
that we know of.
And then you have
because he's got thousands of songs that no one's ever heard.
And then you got actors who buying, there's actors who bought different props from movies, like the Kid, the Knight Rider.
Yeah, but that's not the same.
I mean,
like Shaquille O'Neal is a store owner / board member of Papa John's Pizza.
Okay.
Which means he has ideas and things that he's bringing to their attention over at Papa John's. Cool.
Okay.
Hasbro, a toy making company, bought out Death Row Records for $4 billion. They've got something on their mind that they want to do.
Like what, though? That's the question. Like what?
Well, see, they said that. Because they're a family company. It's in their name, but Death Row Records, they're trying to, I guess, get back in people's house or something. I don't know exactly what they're trying to do, but you don't spend that kind of money just being a fan of that. I mean, Gary Vee, one of the biggest guys right now, he's got his own business and all kinds of stuff, and he's really informative, and I watch him all the time. Mm-hmm. He's a huge fan of the Jets. His end goal is to be the owner of the Jets because he's a fan. But he also wants to do things with the Jets, as in get them back to the playoffs and help them win Super Bowls. So Hasbro, even if they were fans of Death Row, that means that they now own it. That means they have to want to do something with it to make it better or get it back to its former glory or something. Because you don't just put that kind of money out and just be like, cool, now it's mine, I'm just gonna sit it on the shelf. I
look at it like this. I look at it as if I was to have bought it, bought the whole thing myself, you know, I'm looking to make money. I'm looking into making money and putting Tupac best records out there and Snoop Dogg best records out there and trying to get my $4 million back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking.
I mean, I think that the reason, I mean, they had to talk this way. That if you buy the records, you know that they're gonna sell because they're classics. You know, to me, they consider as classic music.
Yeah. Well, I just pulled up the article.
I mean, because you can always use, because you know everybody uses Tupac music, Snoop Dogg music in movies. So every time they play that music, they get paid from it.
So it's after falling from graces after years of dominance, Death Row has taken over. It was taken over by a judge after being declared bankrupt in 2006. In 2009, it was auctioned off for $18 million to a Canadian company, Wide Awake Entertainment Group. E1 bought the label's catalog in 2013 for $280 million.
Okay.
So let me stop right there. They were bankrupt in 2006. And 3 years later, in 2009, they were auctioned off for $18 million.
Okay.
To Wide Awake Entertainment Group. E1 bought them in 2013.
Hi.
For $280 million. So they went from being bankrupt to being worth $18 million, and then $280 million. And then Hasbro CEO Brian Goldner commented on the purchase of E1, stating the acquisition of E1 adds beloved story-led global family brands that deliver strong operating returns to Hasbro's portfolio and provides a pipeline of new brand creation driven by family-oriented storytelling. Hold on, I gotta scroll down. Though Death Row hasn't operated in years, Suge's son is trying to carry on the legacy while his father sits in prison with the new Death Row. Suge Jr. has even made claims that the new Tupac music will be released under the outfit.
New Tupac music?
Yeah. Because they have all of his music still.
Yeah, but
all the music
what you're gonna put out music that was already out there?
No, new Tupac music, as in, because you know he recorded every day, like
right. I understand
albums a day.
So you think So you think a lot of his music wasn't released?
Yeah. Just like I said,
I just can't believe that,
man. Just like I said with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, Prince, Tupac, they were so musical, they had to get it out. They recorded thousands upon thousands of songs, just like any other artist would do when they were getting ready to figure out, okay, they'll probably record 20 songs or 20 to 25 tracks.
20 songs a week, let's say.
Or no, just for one project now. 20 to 25. Then they got to make the cuts. And anything that they didn't put on this CD of 12 to 17 songs. So that's 17. That's still 8 songs that they cut off the album. They don't automatically put those 8 songs on the next album. They just probably never get heard. So that's 8 songs in my catalog that I have just for whenever. Next album comes out, they make another 20, 25 songs. Make their cuts. Maybe this album only has 12 songs. That's another, and they just add them to the album.
Right.
So that's what they did. That's what Tupac did. They said Tupac would make between 100 to 1,000 songs a month. I mean, that's why how after he died, they still came out with whole albums.
Yeah.
Because they just went in a room and said, I just grabbed that book and we're going to put beats to it. And that's it. So I'm guessing that they're going to just, Yeah, but are they gonna have Hasbro's name on it? I mean, they own it, so they could do that, but
So
Death Row Records by Hasbro. That just sounds loopy.
So what they're doing, they're gonna put out new music that never was released.
Cause Suge Jr., Suge's son, is over Death Row. They ain't putting nothing out since 06.
So if it's over Death Row,
they own it.
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
Like Beats by Dre. Beats is the thing. Dre owns it.
Right.
So Death Row is its thing. They get money, but they get what's left over, really, because Hasbro's going to get the money first and then distribute the money out after they get theirs. So, I mean, that's interesting, though.
Yeah.
That's something to keep my eyes on.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking up, just keeping up with
new
it.
Transformers movie gonna have Tupac songs in it because they're owned by the same people. That's crazy.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
So thinking back to all this music news and all the new music that's been coming out, like Sir, her is finally dropping her actual debut album.
Okay.
Young M.A., she's dropping her debut album. What constitutes a debut album? And like to you, because I know you do music, what's the difference to you in a EP and your debut album? Because her has 3 or 4 EPs. Young M.A. has a few EPs. A lot of people have an EP or a project that they do that could be anywhere between 5, 6, 12 songs. But then they have been out for years, and then years into their career, they're like, oh, I guess I need to put my album out. So what's the difference to you?
To me, I don't know. I just think an album it goes in it's more like more significant, more of you.
What do you mean?
I just think that a EP is just more like something you want to just put out quick to promote yourself. Something quick. A quick fix for the people. And then an album is like, this is your creation right here. This is what you're really about. Not saying that the EP is not saying what you're about, but I'm just saying, like, I think that's just something fast, something quick that you want to just put out there.
Well, EP stands for extended play, and then your album is your LP, which is like long play.
Long play, right?
And they say that EP is a kind of collection of music tracks that is more than a single, but falls short of a full album in the sense that it contains lesser number of tracks. So, but this is talking about what it was in the 80s. Thus, a CD that contains only 4 to 5 songs is an EP. Well, see, that's back then, because now you have EPs that are like in the teens and like 20 songs, and it's still considered an EP. So I'm trying to think, what would it be for now? Because I mean,
it's just like for rappers. For rappers, it's a mixtape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we ever heard of
a
music, rapper coming out with an EP?
It's the same thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but or a project. They don't put a name with it. There's I got a mixtape. I got a few projects I'm working on. I'm working on so and so's EP, and then I got my debut album. And then you look at it and you're like, man, you just did 14, 15 songs. Like,
you mean to say like why can't that be your actual album? Right.
Yeah, because this is why I asked that. Because what if, like, her, you know how I feel about her. I love her, but
shout outs to her, man.
Shout out to her. What happens if your first EP and your second EP and your third EP are all amazing, and then your debut album comes out and it's garbage?
That would be some stuff, man, right there.
Right. So you that would make people be like, oh, she's not doing, like, maybe her label is making her sound like this for her album, and then her EP is just strictly just her. Because a lot of times when you hear things on EPs and mixtapes, they fire, and then you listen to the albums and you be like, they wasn't doing this
right
then. So now I'm trying to figure out what the concrete difference is between the LPs and the EPs, or the mixtapes and the actual albums. Because I was looking up some music on my music platform, and I'm looking in albums, thinking, oh, they got so and so many albums. They ain't got but 2. And then you scroll down and it says EPs and more, and they got a whole bunch, like 13. I mean, you got 3 albums, but you got like 13, 14 other projects that you've worked on, and those are the ones we listen to. We don't even listen to your real albums. So,
like I say, it's just something that you put out there. I think albums is more like for your
core fan base.
Yeah, I guess it's
for gaining fans,
or more like for your stacks,
I would say they would be for like gaining fans, because any real fans listen to the mixtapes, the underground stuff that no one knows about. That's your core fan base. And then you have your albums that come in where people are like, oh man, I listen to so and so. Man, I ain't never heard none from them. And then they look up the album. But then that could be a bad representation of why I like to listen to them, because I might be like, no, don't listen to their album, listen to their EP, or listen to their mixtape.
Right. Then it's sound better.
And it usually, not in every case, but usually it does.
Like you have 3 or 4 hits on your EP, but then you have one hit song on your album. And
then oftentimes they don't even make that the single. That's like,
right.
You know, you got track 1, track 2, track 3. Those are usually the ones that get you warmed up for the album.
Exactly.
Your single is usually around track 6 or 7.
Right.
And then your sleeper is towards the end of the album. Well, but track 4 be fire. Track 4 be out, or track 5 be alright. Then you get to your single. And then, like, a lot of times I've listened to albums where I liked the other songs and I didn't like the singles as much.
Right. That happens a lot.
So what goes into that process for picking your single?
That's the thing. I mean, it depends on who you work with. I mean, who's like actually, you doing your promotion, your marketing period.
Yeah. Like
I'm trying to see what album is like that.
Oh, I can look it up right now. I'll tell you. I'm thinking of Usher.
No, because Usher got some good stuff that's not even like the radio song.
Oh, I'm talking about songs that I liked more.
Like, I know Usher albums, you know, have like 2 or 3 good songs, and then everything else is just like, you know,
like 8701.
He would put on the
8701 album. That's the one I'm about to get. 8701 track list. I'll click on this here on Genius.
How we doing?
So let me look at this real quick. Usher's 8701 album, which came out August 7th, 2001. Wow, that's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
Track 1, Interlude to 8701. Track number 2, You Remind Me, single.
You Remind Me, and that was a good song.
Track 3, I Don't Know, featuring Diddy. That was a banger.
Oh, yeah. And they even made a video for.
Yeah, they made videos for most of these, right?
That was a good
So
video.
then you got Twerk It, or Twerk It Out, rather.
Mm.
But it was one of those, like, okay, I can hear them playing that in the club, but it's clearly not a single.
And it's not even a visual either for it.
Then You Got It Bad, single.
Hit.
Pop Your Collar, one of those okay songs. If I Want To, one of my favorite tracks of this whole album. But it was treated as if it was nothing. I Can't Let You Go, featuring Jermaine Dupri. That was a good song. I can see it being a single. I think they shot a video for it, but it wasn't treated like that. You Don't Have to Call, single. Hit. Then they had Without You, which was an interlude to the changing of the mode of the whole album. You had all of, from track 1 to track 9. All of those were club songs. You popping, you dancing. You had upbeat. Track 10 changed it around. They were like, okay, now that that's out of the way, we're going to play some music that's a little different. Track 11, Can You Help Me? That is my favorite song of the whole album. Followed up with my second favorite, How Do I Say, which is another love ballad. Then you've got Hottest Thing at 13, 14, Good Old Ghetto, U-Turn, You Are the One, TTP, Separated. So that whole album was 18 songs. It was basically side A, side B. You had your A side, your clubs. You had your B side with your ballads and such like that. Why were all the singles the club hits? When you had 2 back to back on the album, that could have easily been singles.
Mm-hmm.
He could have had a club single, a ballad single, a club single, because he had 3 singles on this one album.
Right.
So why were they all on the A side, basically? Which goes into why I'm asking, like, what makes them think, oh yeah, this is the single?
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because I mean, it has to deal with your with the person that's organizing the list.
Yeah,
it gotta be.
That's just like some people who don't put the track list in order correctly,
the right way. Exactly.
Yeah, like Rick Ross's new album, Port of Miami 2. Everything Ross did up until this album felt cinematic. Mm-hmm. It was deliberate. You knew who it was as soon as it came on, from track 1 clear up until the end of the CD.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, it felt like, okay, there are some good songs. There are some songs like, okay, they are aight. The features did better. But the track list felt staggered. It wasn't like it wasn't a cohesive story like most of his albums are.
It wasn't smooth.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we gonna start you off with this, and then we finna just, go to the corner or something. But then on that third song, we finna do. It was like,
yeah, and then we gonna go to the club, and then
we in the club for 2 songs straight, and now we don't know where we at.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about. Like every song is like for a scene. One is for the club, one is for the bedroom, one is for the
but when you go,
you're in a car or.
But see, that's what I'm saying. One, it'd be like, we in the club, we walked out of the club, we going to the car, we in the car going home, we at the house, we finna do what we finna do. That's how it should be, because that's the story. This one was like, we in the club, we on the dock somehow. Mm-hmm. Now we back at the club. Like, what? How did we get to these places? It was weird. The phrasing of the album didn't flow. The songs were good, but if you would have rearranged it, it would have been a lot better.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
To me, but it was still a good album.
But it wasn't as.
And also, if they would have released some other songs as singles instead of the ones they released as singles, I think it would have been picked up more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it? Gold Roses, I think is the name of the track with him and Drake.
Right.
Whatever the name of it is, I don't think that that's the right one. But you would think that they would have released that a long time ago, because that song is fire. And then they were like, "Oh, we just gonna wait for y'all to see this and it's at the end of the album."
It's just like Drake albums. They have one song that's pretty good, and then the rest of it is just like.
It's like they're trying to make you listen to the album to get to it.
All right. Yeah, and then it'd be like number 13, number 14, like.
15. Yeah, you'd be like.
Almost the last song.
Like, man, I had to go through all of this to get to and
exactly.
That's why you have a lot of skips on albums.
Yeah.
Because they see, my favorite song that they play right now that's a single is track number 13. I'm going to go straight to 13.
Now see me, I'm a little more old fashioned. I like old rappers and stuff like that. So today, yesterday night.
Last night?
Oh, last night, I meant to say. I was listening to Ghostface Killer from the Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Supreme Clientele. Mm-hmm. And that album is like, if you listen to it from the first song to the end, it makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes with it. You move from scene to scene, and it goes accordingly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel me? So old rappers, they had the blueprint for their whole albums to be a hit.
I don't even think that people lost their blueprint. I just think that with this new wave of music, let me stop. This new wave of music is not new. First of all, it's not. They're trying to get off this random act of this, that, and the other and brand it as something new. It's not new. People have been doing the same stuff all the time. The only thing that's really new about it is how open they are in hip-hop to taking all these drugs that most of them are not even doing. Future went on record saying, "Hey, I rap about Percocets, Molly's, and all this." He said, "I smoke weed, but I don't smoke nothing else. I don't do none of that. But that's what people wanted. That's what I gave them, and they love it." So,
I have a question when you go ahead and finish up.
So taking that, people are like, "Oh, this mumble rap is crazy," and this, like the famous video of Snoop Dogg talking about the Migos going, that's just a triplet pattern. That's been going around since Bone Thugs. And before.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing it in a way and adding so much vocoder, auto-tune, whatever you want to call it, to it, that you can't understand what they're saying, and most of them aren't saying anything anyway.
Right. They're just saying simple words.
They're saying the same words over and over again. They have a lot of 808. Some of the beats are really good, but when you take the beat away and you listen to what they're saying, they're not saying anything. That's why it's called mumble rap, because it's better off being mumbled, because no one knows, why are you saying this? None of this stuff is new. It's all the same.
And then the difference between old school rap, old school hip hop, and the new hip hop that we have now is that the old hip hop was more, they used more of intellectual words.
Yeah, their imagery was on point. You could see it. You didn't
just like the album I was just talking about, Supreme Clientele. It's not about like what they're saying. It's about the wordplay,
and you can see it.
The way that you express the scene, the way that you describe the scene where you're at.
See, a lot of these rappers now, they rap, and they could have good rap, good flow, but they don't have imagery. You have to wait till the video comes out to see, as opposed to older rap, where, I mean, like Eazy-E and the storytellers of rap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one song comes on, he's like, when I'm alone in my room, the first thing you picture is someone sitting in their room alone. It's
or
already
like Scarface,
it's already in your head, and you can see it before you. Yeah, you see it before it even gets to the video. Then you see the video, you're like, that's exactly what I was picturing them doing in my head.
Right.
Because it's storytelling, the art of telling the story. That's all it is. But then you have other people who talk about intellectual things and rap and give you a sense of, okay, we need to do better. Because, I mean, I don't even know what they're saying on this thing. Well, we need to do better as a people and educate ourselves to be able to even understand our music. It's like, I'm going to use all these words. They're going to be like, I don't know what that means. Which causes you, in turn, to look up more things.
Yeah.
To educate yourself more.
Everything that's everything that they're saying now is more simple.
It's dumbed down.
Yeah.
Well,
it's watered down. I'm gonna just say that.
Not everyone. You still got your Kendrick Lamars, your Pusha T's, your Childish Gambinos, your Jay-Z's, your Nas's, your I was about to say Bobby Tarantino because that's his name, but your Logics. You still have people who do it, but they're not the front runners because everyone's on this so-called new wave.
Right.
That's not new. It's the same. They're doing it barely different, and people are eating it up like it's brand new things, and it's not. And that's one thing that upsets me. Like, you have certain people who do things like that, and it's very upsetting to me. But then you have people who sample, but they sample good songs and make trash.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. Like, there was a song, and I'm not saying the song is trash. I'm saying that I don't like it. I'm saying there was a song, Pretty Brown Eyes by Mint Condition, and somebody made a sample of it. I think Chris Brown was on it. And anytime that song came on the radio, I was getting excited because I'm like, oh, they playing Pretty Brown Eyes. And then they started doing something else. And I was like, wait a minute. And me at first saying, oh, this is new. I wonder what it's about. And then I listened to it and I was like, y'all could have kept that. Because that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
To me.
I agree. I mean,
excuse me.
You talking about Chris Brown and Remy Martin?
Yeah, that's it. I love Chris and I love Remy.
Yeah.
I did not like that song.
No.
I really didn't. If it would have been with something else, I probably would have liked it more. But the fact that they took that song and made it, it was clever how they mixed it. Yeah, but that's about it to me. I just really didn't like it.
Right. You just ruined a classic.
Yeah.
That's all.
And that's not just a slight applied against them. That's happened.
To me,
lot.
the new, I guess the new music.
We were riding in the car earlier.
That's out there right now,
and we heard that they were the car that was ahead of us.
Yeah,
they were playing what I thought was old school music. It was a bunch of this new stuff that had that sample, and because as soon as I heard it, I said, "That's not how that song goes."
Right.
And I was like, "Man, no."
Yeah, to me, I think the new music that's out there now is more like the older music breakdown. You know, like how every song has a breakdown?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, not every song, but you have a bridge. It's either you have a bridge or you have
the actual breakdown.
The actual breakdown of the song. Mm-hmm. That's what it reminds me of when I hear this new music. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you have a good track going on, and then the breakdown come on, and the new music that's up to date now. I mean, that's out there now. It's the actual breakdown of the song. That's what it reminds me of. This new music.
There are instances where they do it correctly.
Yeah,
for me,
I think. Like, don't get me wrong. Look, I'm not trying.
Cardi did the "I Like It Like That."
Yeah, that was dope.
Where she had the actual track play and then the 808s kicked in.
Yes,
that by itself could have been that song, and I wouldn't have been mad.
Right. And
then she did her thing on top of it. And I was like, okay, now that's good because I like this song originally.
Yeah, because you got the whole sample on there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
As opposed to, I'm going to start this song off like Pretty Brown Eyes. And then I'm going to wait for him to get to quit breaking my heart. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to start. No.
Yeah, that's
don't
not.
do that.
Yeah, that's like just destroying the classic, like I said.
And Remy, you probably ain't going to hear this till who knows how long from now.
Yeah.
You knew better than that. You too, Chris. What? I was about to give them a bum. You a bum. But
you a bum?
But they not. But y'all knew that y'all should have used something else. They probably heard it. It sounded good to them. And then she just went off and was like, yeah. And she was flowing. Yeah. And it was good. And then she was like, man, we need to get somebody on this. And Chris heard it. And he was like, oh, this is great. Because I love both of them. It's just that particular thing. I was like...
And then another thing. I feel like if they think that... Okay, because like the 90s era, they was using a lot of 70s samples and 80s samples. Like early 80s samples of music. So from the 90s... the new music that came out that wasn't samples, I guess, they using it now. You know what I'm saying?
They're sampling the sample.
They sampling the sample
of the sample.
Of the sample.
Yeah. So it's like an inception of samples.
Exactly.
In one song. And you're like, wait. It's like this is paying an homage to this.
Because that's all it is. You know what I'm saying?
All of these are paying an homage to this one thing.
Because hip hop is samples.
Yeah, it is.
Hip
hop is a little bit of everything.
Right.
You have each culture giving its own spice and flair to it, which is why hip hop is so amazing.
So let's call it this. Let's call this section a bad cover song.
I like it. It is.
It's a bad cover song.
It is a bad. It's and not all of it is bad.
Who is this? Daniel Jean.
They're talking about this person that was above.
Oh, okay.
But they're not in there now. But it's, I don't know.
I'm a big fan.
Hey, thank you, Dante. Oh, for those of you who are listening to this podcast later, we're actually live on one of our platforms, and we're reading the
shout out to Dante.
Shout out to Dante, since he's a big fan. We appreciate you. But I don't know, man. This music thing is something I hold dear, because there are a lot of ways that things could go bad.
Yeah. From
a sample, or like one of the kings of sampling is
Kanye West.
Kanye. and hold on, before I say, you got like a horn that is not the air horn. I need a sound that's like a tornado is coming. Or I'm just gonna do this. This is the point in the broadcast where I'm gonna say something that people probably not gonna like. Everybody think Kanye West crazy.
He's not crazy.
I'm here to tell y'all he's not.
No. Not by all those
y'all
things.
say he crazy because he wore the little MAGA hat and all this, that, and the other. There ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
No.
Except he misses mom, for one.
Of course.
But there's nothing wrong with him. He's a genius. That's that. Now, he's one of the kings of sampling, because he's one of those people who will take a sample, the right sample, make it into something completely different.
Right.
Spit over it and be amazing. And then not even put it on the album. Well, he will pay the price to to be able to sample it. Spit a verse or two or three or whatever he wants to over it. Know it's fire and be like, they not ready for this.
Right.
And not put it on an album. I think that's very interesting. But I was looking into his little, I don't know what it is, where they're like in a tent or something out in Calabasas, where it's like, I think every other week or every week where they just meet. It's them and it's the Kardashians and him and a whole bunch of people, like choirs and stuff.
Right.
And they did a live version of Jesus Walks. They turned a whole bunch of other popular songs from now into more so gospel-esque tracks, all produced by him.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed some of the stuff.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the video for it. You had a video?
Yeah, there's a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he was dressed in like all white, and it was a choir on the left of him, and they were singing, and he was directing and stuff. And I was like, this is the Kanye that we miss seeing. No one sees it. And it got me thinking about how people think that he's just done lost his mind.
He lost his mind, right.
Which, I mean, he's in a different place now, because, I mean, he's never been the same since his mom died, first. Second, he was trying to get help, and all they did, as they do often, is give him a bunch of pills and hope for the best, which he got addicted.
Right.
And then he was winging himself off of it, and slowly he was saying that he felt different. But no one took those words
seriously.
Yeah. Like we talked about last show.
Right.
And then after that, he started doing all these other things to get people to pay attention to him. People were thinking, oh, he done lost his mind. He talking about him and Trump best friends. No. Hip-hop, as a whole loved loved Donald Trump before he was president.
Yeah.
He was he was the man.
Yeah, he was like the person that everybody wanted
everybody wanted to have him and they on their side.
I heard a lot of rappers say,
Snoop.
They said that they wanted to be like Donald Trump. Or
Mac Miller made a whole song called Donald Trump. That was one of his big songs.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in countless videos. He was on WWE Battle of the Billionaires between him and Vince McMahon. Everyone used to love Donald Trump.
Right.
They knew he was a jerk and all this other stuff, but they loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Flash forward to now, he's president. Now don't nobody like him. Kanye was the scapegoat, as in saying, "Nah, I liked him then, I like him now. I don't agree with everything he says."
Right.
He said, "But I'm gonna stand right beside him because I stood beside him before. I'm not gonna change up on him now." People hated him for it. He put the MAGA hat on. People hated him for it. But he's a genius because when he does all these so-called crazy things, he does it with no context. He just does it.
Right.
And then they ask him, "Hey, man, what are you thinking? What are you doing?" "You have to pay me to get the answer because you have to give me you have to pay me to get an interview. Now I'm going to be on TV. I'm still not going to give you an answer so that I can get another interview, and I'm still getting paid. I don't have to he doesn't have to put out music. He doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do. He's a genius. He found out exactly how to work the system, and he's working it.
Right.
So I think that that's very interesting that people were so against him, but then you can't take anything away from him because he set a trend. That 808 and Heartbreaks album, he set in stone a trend of things that were so great in one album that made everyone else stop their project, listen to it, and then go back to working on their project to see how they can make an impact similar to the one he made.
Right.
So I think that's very interesting. And apparently all of them under his label, they're about to do a rollout again. So I'm interested in looking at that too. I think that'll be a good one. I think Tiana's album is going to be really, really good this time. Because her album was good before, but she was unhappy because some of the stuff she thought was going to be on there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be, this album for her is going to be one of the best.
Here's a question. What do you think about the guy that bought Taylor Swift everything she ever made? Excuse me.
The what?
Like every music that she ever made. Like
he bought it?
He bought it. What's his name? The guy that managed Justin Bieber and
Scooter.
Yeah, Scooter. That's his name.
He bought it.
Yeah, he bought everything.
What do you mean?
Like he bought all her music.
Like all the rights to it?
All the rights to it. Everything.
He's smart.
I mean, I know his move was smart.
No.
But for her,
it doesn't matter. She can do no wrong. It literally does not matter. She could go walk in front of the White House and streak across the lawn, and everyone would want to do it from now until the end of time. It does not matter. She can't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about it earlier. She went from being a country artist and realizing that she wasn't going to get as big as she wanted to be,
right,
to becoming a quote-unquote pop artist, which I'll talk about that probably next episode. about genres, but she went to being a pop artist, making nothing but pop songs, and then she blew up. She outsold Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
She just won the Video of the Year award against arguably the best song, like money-wise, in the last 10 to 15 years being in Old Town Road. Because they say whenever kids love your song, it's going to play forever.
Yeah.
He went to schools and he played that song and they sang it. They saw him and they sang that song before he even performed. He made a video for it. It was the most watched video of the year. And she beat him at the MTV Music Video Awards or whatever. She was surprised when she won.
Mm-hmm.
And usually you can tell when someone's fake surprised. Nah, they said Taylor Swift. It was Queen Latifah and John Travolta gave her the award. Queen Latifah said Taylor Swift. The camera panned over to her. She looked like there's no way that I actually won, compared to all the other videos that she was going against. She can do nothing wrong right now. She had some little thing where they said that she copied, just all she did was copy Beyonce, and it didn't matter, because she still sold all of her little whatever she was doing it for. She sold everything. She can do no wrong. But she would not be where she is today without Kanye.
That's true.
I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the best video of all times.
That's how everybody went.
Everybody was like, oh man, he done got drunk and he tripping. He told her he was gonna do that.
He told Taylor he was gonna do that.
There are videos, there are sound bites of their conversation back and forth about that moment and every moment to come after that, where he said something about Taylor Swift, whether it be in a song, in that racy album cover, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He went over everything with her to make sure that it wasn't crossing a line that she didn't think that like if she would have told him, "Nah, I don't like that," he would have stopped and did something completely different.
Right.
She was like, "Hey, no, you're a genius. Like anything that you think you need to do, I'm down with it."
Yeah, because she was a new artist,
and he was
at that time,
and he was just like, "I'm gonna make you big, just like everybody else."
Yeah, and he did.
And everybody thought from that moment forward he was crazy. He's not crazy.
Right.
He found out what the system wanted. He was like, "I'm gonna give the system what they want."
You know, I was
he's a genius.
I was listening to a Mini Fresh interview where he was talking about Kanye West, how Kanye West was like a genius.
He's literally. There was an interview where he was talking about, which I don't agree with him saying he was God or a god, but he was talking. He was talking about. He was all of these great minds rolled into one. Mm-hmm. He was like, "I'm the second coming of all these people," and they were saying, "Oh, he think he's done reincarnated into these people, or he's the reincarnation of these people." That's not what he was saying. He was saying, just like y'all thought they were geniuses, I am a genius. I'm literally telling you that I am a genius. I'm giving you exactly. He's literally telling them what they want.
Right.
He's like, they're like, "Oh, how do you feel about the racist statement that Trump made?" I'm gonna go against what you said because you're gonna pay me more money to say it.
Right.
Now, let me ask you a serious question. Do you honestly think that crazy Kanye West would have moved back to Chicago around the people he grew up with and they not say nothing to him? when he moved back to Chicago,
okay,
they welcomed him back in open arms because they all knew he was not crazy. He's making money. He's doing what he has to do. Mm-hmm. So if the people he grew up around treated him no differently, being from there, where they shooting people every day,
right?
Y'all really think he gonna go back talking? Oh, I'm Trump best friend and all this, whatever y'all say he's saying. Mm-hmm. Y'all really think he gonna go back to Chicago and ain't gonna be nothing said?
No.
Like, honestly? Nah, man. But you know, he rich. He probably got all kinds of security. Okay, yeah. That means that there would be a massacre on the news saying that security guards of Kanye West have been shot and killed by so-and-so and so-and-so. But you ain't hear none of that. You heard they welcomed him back home in open arms. One of Chicago's favorite sons.
Kanye West.
He's playing the system. Just like Jay-Z is playing the system with the NFL deal.
Right.
There's I'm meant to send this to you. I'm gonna send it to you, or I'm gonna show it to you when we get off. But there was a video I saw of this lady who broke it down so well what he's doing.
That's what you say?
It's absolutely insane how well she broke down what Jay-Z's doing with this deal.
Okay.
I mean, it was so crazy. The first time I heard it, I stopped it halfway through and went back and played it again just to make sure I didn't miss nothing. I'm talking, she broke it down.
Yeah, I need to hear that one, man. Because we was talking about that the last episode, and I wanted to know. Yeah. Because I heard, so many people talking about it, saying that he's a sellout, that he's gonna. I'm gonna play this video for you. Okay.
On our next show, we're gonna talk about this.
Okay.
But I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna play a little bit of the clip. And you can be like, oh yeah. But you got anything else?
Well, I'm so glad we're doing this podcast, you know what I'm saying? Because, this is, we talked about this. This is like, we talk about everything that's going on in the world, and we can actually express our opinion. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't feel muffled.
Muffled.
Yeah, muffled.
I thought you said muscle.
No, I said muscle the first time because I was trying to find the right word. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I can go ahead and express myself and say what I need to say about whatever issue is going on. Because there's a lot of issues in the world right now that's happening, that's going on, that's nobody really saying anything about it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just like say their opinion, but they not heard.
Speaking of which,
you know what I'm saying?
But before we end, I have one thing to say to everybody who participated in the Popeyes chicken sandwich rollout, no matter where you were in the world. I have one thing to say to y'all only. If y'all can show up for a chicken sandwich.
That's right. I know what you're about to say.
Whether it's crispy, whether it's grilled, whether it's spicy or a classic. If you can show up and show out for a chicken sandwich.
That's right.
Y'all can get out there and vote.
That's right.
I saw a sky picture of the amount of people in line waiting for a chicken sandwich for $3.99.
Right.
And then whenever the lines were so long that they ran out of chicken. And people were upset and stopped going to Popeyes
pulling out guns on the employees
until they found out when they got some more, and then the lines came back.
Yeah.
If you can do that for a chicken sandwich,
you can go out and vote.
Go out and vote.
For real.
You can go out here and make a difference. Whether it's voting, whether it's whatever. You can go to church. You can go to a fundraiser. You can go help the homeless people. If you can do this for a chicken sandwich,
I agree.
There is no reason under God's green earth that you can't do nothing else. Y'all talking about, I be wanting to do stuff, but I don't know. But then you the first one in line to get that sandwich when they open the door.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's the only rant that I'm going to go on about that. I just wanted to say that because I saw that picture earlier.
Yeah.
But come on, y'all.
I agree.
It was good, but it wasn't that good.
Like, and I'm just saying this real quick. It's just like people get excited over small stuff. Like they get excited to do things like the Popeyes chicken.
That don't matter.
But you don't get excited to go and do something positive out there.
You got all these people that are out here trying to make a difference, and they can't get nobody to show up.
Right.
But I bet you if they'd have had that chicken sandwich, they'd have been there.
Maybe we should start like bringing the Popeyes chicken sandwich to every fundraiser and every
look. And that's not a bad thing for Popeyes. I finally went and I said, you know what? I'm going to try to get this sandwich. I was on my way to work. It was 1:30. I pulled up at the Popeyes across the street. It was the only Popeyes that didn't have a sign up saying that they didn't have a sandwich. So I pulled up. I said, hey, do y'all have the sandwich? And I said, yeah, we do, but it's a cook time of 10 minutes. I said, cool, I got time. Give me one of each. And they were like, okay, it'll be whatever the amount was. Pulled up, paid my money, waited a minute, got the sandwiches. I ate one right then. I ate the spicy one first, which the spicy one was good. And then for lunch at work, I ate the other one. It was good. Those are good sandwiches. Okay, now that that's out of the way, they ain't that good. They're not good enough that everybody and their mama and their grandma done got out to go
Janet
get them.
Jackson was escorted to go in Popeyes to get a chicken sandwich.
They not that good.
Ridiculous, man.
Look like they was having an inauguration in the Popeyes. More people showed up.
Popeyes made a lot of money.
More people showed up at the Popeyes than they did at Trump's inauguration. That's ridiculous.
And if I'm not mistaken, I seen a chicken sandwich at Popeyes before it started getting, like
I don't even
famous.
know where this came from. And then Chick-fil-A, being Chick-fil-A, they tweeted a picture of a bucket of chicken. They said Popeyes should have stayed in their lane. Talking about they was gonna start selling buckets of chicken.
Yeah.
Everybody started showing back up at Chick-fil-A, which is already hard enough to get in Chick-fil-A.
when the franchises go against each other, like Burger King go against Wendy's, and
it's good.
I love
because
it's
good competition and whatever. That's nice, but when you got half of traffic blocked off because you're trying to go in a Chick-fil-A or a Popeye, come on, man. I'm talking about like people couldn't. There was an ambulance trying to get by to go try to save someone's life, and they had to wait in traffic because folks was trying to get a chicken sandwich.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Get your priorities right, but anyway.
On that note,
I had to say what I had to say because I had to keep it a buck on that sandwich. It's good, but it ain't that good.
Yeah. You got to keep it a buck, man.
I got to keep it a buck, bro.
We keep it a buck over here.
So this has been episode 14. Keep It a Buck podcast. I am Felipe Santiago. That's your boy E, the bad guy. And we out.
Peace out.